Here are the top 10 armies in the world based on the Global Firepower's Comprehensive Index of Military Strength. 10. Pakistan. With a full score of 0.2073, Pakistan comes in at number 10. It has a total military personnel of 1.7 million people, with 654,000 in active service. The Pakistani military has 2,680 tanks and a budget of $12.3 billion per year. 9. Brazil. Brazil has a full score of 0.2026, making it one of the top 10 military powers in the world. Brazil has 2 million people in its military, with 334,500 of those in active service. It has a budget of $29.3 billion and has 439 tanks at its disposal. 8. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has a full score of 0.1997 and so comes just above Brazil in terms of military might. The UK has 275,000 people in its military, with 195,000 of those in active service. It has a defense budget of $56 billion and has 109 tanks in its forces. 7. France. France comes way above the previous entries to this list with a full score of 0.1681. France has 450,000 people in its military, with 270,000 in active service. Its military has 406 tanks at its disposal and a total budget of $47.7 billion. 6. South Korea. South Korea has a full score of 0.1612 and has an incredible 6.7 million people in their military, that's 12.9% of their population. Those in active service is much lower at 600,000. South Korea has 2,600 tanks at its disposal and a budget of $48 billion. 5. Japan. With a full score of 0.1599, Japan makes it into the top 5. The nation has 319,000 people in its military, 250,000 of which are in active service. Japan has 1,004 tanks at its disposal and a budget of $51.7 billion. 4. India. India has a full score of 0.1207 on this index, and it is easy to see why. The Indian military involves 5.1 million people, with 1.4 million in active service. Although, it should be noted that its total military size is only 0.4% of its total population. India has 4,730 tanks and has an incredible defense budget of $73.6 billion. 3. China. China has a full score of 0.0854 on this index and is the first nation to score under 0.1. China has 3.4 million people in its military with 2.1 million of those being in active service. China has 3,205 tanks at its disposal and a defense budget of $178 billion. 2. Russia. With a full score of 0.0791, Russia comes in second on the list. It has a total of 3.5 million people in its military, about 1 million of which are in active service. Russia has access to an incredible 13,000 tanks and a defense budget of $42 billion. 1. United States. A perfect score on the index is 0.00, with the U.S. scoring 0.0718. The U.S. has 2.2 million people in its military services, with 1.4 million of those in active service. America has 6,100 tanks at its disposal and has, by far, the largest defense budget in the world, an eye-watering $740 billion.